Hey, yo, the brand new season is here, and we hit Infinite day one with two of these kind of small ball Agent Venom lists using Esme and Surge. Let's go ahead and break down what these two cards do, the two decks, and jump into some gameplay. Surge is a 2-cost, 2-powered card. On reveal, give the top card of your deck -1 cost and +1 power. After you play it, repeat this ability. This card is very strong. You're seeing it in a large variety of lists. Potentially, people are saying is the card of the season. Of course, you guys do need to keep in mind if this card does get Red Guardian, this does negate this ability and it cannot proc again. Same with a Cosmo in front of it. Think of like Fire Hair when a Cosmo's in front of Fire Hair. And then, of course, the next card that we are messing around with is going to be Esme. Esme is an on-reveal, copy a card from your deck to your hand, which is a new card. It's a created card. Give it 3 cost and 4 power. Of course, you're using this more often than not to try and high roll. Like in this list I showed just now on screen, you're going to have your Iron Man, your Gore, and you're going to have Claw. So you're trying to get those to a 3-4, whereas the necklace, you also have Darkhawk. You'd love to have a 3-4 Darkhawk. On the low end, you could get some of your 3-cost cards to get to 4 power, which is kind of like the original Agent Venom, which set all your cards base power to 4, which was incredible. So you're kind of getting that kind of feel there. If it hits one of your lower end cards, it's the worst case scenario. More often than not necessarily all the time, but more often than not it is. So you kind of got to use this card knowing what you have in your deck and what you have in your hand and kind of planning that out accordingly, playing your odds in that sense. So the very first deck I used is going to be this shocking small ball list, which is using Claw as one of the bigger enablers opposed to the next list using Darkhawk. With this list, these shells are very similar in a sense, but one is using Juggernaut, this one is using Juggernaut, although the next one is using Cosmo. I'll explain why we have each card in this list kind of individually when we break both these two lists down. It also just depended on what my pocket meta was. I did face a lot of Airshim and Thanos towards my 80s and 90s climb, so I switched over to Darkhawk more and was able to roll through more of those games, whereas in the 70s, I was kind of facing a little bit more mirrors, so this list kind of helped in that sense, especially having the Juggernaut to be able to push my opponent away from what they had going on as well. The next deck we do have is going to be Rocky Knights, and I said I was facing a lot of Thanos, so having these extra cards in our deck to be able to kind of counter that, whether it is a Cosmo to stop some of these on reveals. You can also, Cosmo Mystique is actually very strong right now. It literally feels like the old like Agent Venom kind of meta where like Cosmo Mystique to be able just to counter what your opponent's trying to do into a lot of these matchups, especially into a lot of these bounce kind of matchups too. We didn't face a whole lot of bounce during my climb, but post my climb, I've been using a Cosmo Mystique to kind of offset them being able to bounce cards back or be able to reproc those abilities that they were thinking of as well. But you do have Darkhawk and Korg as the enablers for Darkhawk in this list. Yes, you may not have any other cards to put rocks into your deck, but if you're facing Airshim and you're facing Thanos, you kind of don't have to really worry about that. Yes, Thanos can still draw their cards, but if you have the Cosmo kind of to counteract that, or if you kind of mess up their shuffle with the Korg itself, that's really good. And of course, this is a just really good snap condition into Airshim. Turn 1 snapping if you have a Cassandra Nova in hand, or if you have a Darkhawk in hand. But let's go ahead and break down why we have each card in this list individually. I'm going to kind of combine both decks into one segment here, but gameplay is going to be split between both decks, so just keep that in mind as well. So starting off, first and foremost, we are using Bast in both of these lists. You're using Bast to enable your cards that are in your hand that do not get any of the Agent Venom value to be able to get that 3 power, whether that is an Iron Man, whether that is a Mystique, a Hood. If you're using an Agent Venom, you're not going to play this on turn 1 because you kind of want to keep that Agent Venom's power still at 5, so you have that extra 5 power on the board instead of it being set on 3. So sometimes I will just float turn 1 and not play Bast in order to maximize Agent Venom, and still I'll have Bast in my hand too to be able to, on turn 3, potentially hit one of the cards in hand that did not get the Agent Venom value. Now, if you do have a Hood in hand, you kind of maybe bite the bullet in a sense, just depending on what your card draws are. This is another good card if it gets hit with Agent Venom, or it get hits with Bast. It is potentially, it goes from a 1 -3 to a 1-3. You gain 6 power in a sense here with the Hood. You also are able to get the Demon out later on in the game as well, which is very impactful. But we're using that more in this shell. We're actually swapping the Hood out in the Darkhawk list for Korg, because Korg, you just get that extra value itself, especially since, it adds a rock to your opponent's side of the, their deck, since, that kind of offsets what their shuffle is going to be. Next, in both lists, we do have Nico. I really like Nico as just a Swiss Army knife tech card, one of my favorite cards in the game, if not my favorite card in the game. The utility this card can bring you, whether it's hit by Surge, so it costs 0, whether it gives you a duplicate of the Esme cards that you just created itself too, whether you're destroying potentially even a hood to draw more cards, changing a location that is benefiting your opponent, giving Nico extra power herself, giving another card extra power, moving a card to the right so you're not filling your board. She just works really well and just kind of can fluctuate through whatever you necessarily need. You're not playing her all the time, but it's a really good just tech piece to be able to either get into other areas or just kind of, overpower your opponent because they don't necessarily know what the Nico spell is going to be. Next, of course, we do have Surge. Like I was saying, you're playing Surge. If you don't have Agent Venom, you're playing Surge on 2. If you do have Agent Venom, you're playing Surge more on turn 3. You're going to look at what your hand is looking like and what your board is looking like before you play Surge. Most optimal kind of other lists are going to be playing Surge onto your turn 2, but I like the Agent Venom on turn 2 instead, being able to kind of start your curve out that way, getting the extra power onto the other cards in your deck. Since Agent Venom is the on reveal, set the power of all the cards in your deck to 3. It really helps you kind of have that going, so you have that extra power to be able to manage, opposed to, yes, you can get some Surge value and cheat some stuff out early, but I kind of just prioritize the Agent Venom itself to be able to kind of help my combo pieces get better later on into the game. Of course, we have Cassandra Nova in both of these lists as well, which it steals 1 power from each card in your opponent's deck. So with like the Darkhawk list, you're throwing Korg before you play Cassandra Nova to be able to get an extra power on your Cassandra Nova. Of course, into Thanos and Erishim, this gives you extra Cassandra Nova value as well. I will also Nico copy spell my Cassandra Nova as well, in order to potentially get another Cassandra Nova to be able just to continue to nuke my opponent's deck and be able to have just power in a bunch of different lanes. If you do copy your Cassandra Nova, or if you do get an Esme Cassandra Nova, you play Esme on 3, you get Cassandra Nova on 4. Cassandra Nova then becomes a potential 3/9 because the 4 power onto her from Esme, and then they have 5 cards more often than not in their deck, so she is a 3/9 in that sense. So Cassandra Nova just works really well in the meta. There is an argument where you could do Mobius instead into some of these mirrors, especially with all of the energy cheating and all the other Surge you have going on. You could potentially do a Mobius in right here instead of maybe a Juggernaut or the Cassandra Nova or the Cosmo. It just really depends on what your pocket meta is. I might honestly, in the Shocking Small Ball, maybe go for more of a Mobius. I don't know. I'm seeing Mr. Negative. I'm seeing Thanos. I don't really like to have to mess with all that and all the other Surge stuff that's happening, so that's really solid, even though Juggernaut has won me a good chunk of game stuff as well. We do also have Mystique. You are running 3 ongoing cards in both lists. And one of them you're running Claw, and the other one you're running Darkhawk, but you do have Gore, and you do have Iron Man in both of these shells, so Mystique does get the value from 3 different cards, which is why I like having Mystique. And also in the Darkhawk shell, you have 4 ongoing cards. You also have Cosmo, so Mystique can also copy the Cosmo, so the Mystique value is good. It is one of the worst hits you can get from your Surge, not your Esme, because Esme you can still get the value later on with the Mystique, but definitely from your Surge, this is one of the worst hits because you're not going to play a Mystique on curve. But if you look at the other majority of cards you have in this deck, if this is the worst hit and you have 10 other hits that are actually pretty good, and maybe you have 5 of the 10 that are really good, it's not that bad. So you have, of course, like I said, you have Juggernaut in this sense, and then if you go down, you do also have Cosmo in the Darkhawk shell of this list too. And like I said, Cosmo is just really good into a lot of these like tech and all these on reveal cards and decks I've been seeing recently. So having a Cosmo, you just slot down either to protect your Darkhawk, to protect your Iron Man. Because Enchantress also is running amok now. There's some Sarah control out there. There's some Surfer shenanigans. You can also protect your cards from Red Guardian. Like Cosmo is in a really solid spot if you want to tech in Cosmo. I know even Thanos is running Cosmo, so you can use, and I actually used a Cosmo in my Infinite hitting game. My opponent used a Cosmo, and that allowed me just to pretty much win a lane because of Darkhawk. But Cosmo is in an incredibly good spot right now as well. Like I was talking about with Esme too. If you hit any of your 3s, Your 5s or your 6 cost Gore, Esme is great. If you hit any of your lower end cards, it's not as great. So you have 5 lower end cards in this list, and then you have 6 3 to 6 cost cards. So you are wavering more into having a better substantial hit when it comes to the Esme if you just look at the probability. But like I said, just keep also in mind when you're playing your Esme what cards you have in your deck. And some of it could be a snap condition. Knowing that you have your bigger cards in your deck and you have a higher likelihood to get your bigger cards to be Esme is potentially a snap onto turn 3. It also just depends if your opponent is also running Mobius. If they're not running Mobius, you can play one of your big cards out on turn 4, which seems pretty good, and you can set this up for some Mystique. So what you would do is you'd play your Esme on your turn 3, and then you'd play another card. If you have a lower card, you play your 1 cost before you play your ongoing card to be able to copy for Mystique. So keep that in mind because, you know, Mystique copies the last card you played, so play order does matter in that sense. But Esme has just been absolutely fantastic for me and being able to steal games because of her ability. We do also have Iron Man. Iron Man getting hit by Bast. Iron Man getting hit by Esme. Iron Man getting hit by Agent Venom. There are 3 different ways to get this card to have more than 0 power. Even if it has 0 power, it's not the worst. If you can line it up the right way, you can get some really solid just Iron Man value. It's a great copy for Mystique. It's a great card for you to be able to surge and get out early as well. So there's 4 potentially different enablers for Iron Man as well. It really does feel like we're playing the Agent Venom kind of meta again, but it's a little bit different because it's more pinpointed and like you still have to get lucky opposed to every single card always getting hit with that +4 power. Of course, Agent Venom does give this always, you know, +3 power if you get the Agent Venom on the board, but you guys see what I'm saying. Next, of course, in this list, we do have Claw. We're using Claw as another just cheeky enabler to add 7 power to the lane to the right, so you can only play this in the left or in the middle lane. It's a very good surprise card. It also, like, if you Mystique a Claw, they're not expecting you to Mystique Claw. They're more expecting you to, like, Mystique the Gore or, like, the Iron Man. So having Claw as one of those options has been really solid in this list to be able to get some cheeky points. And then, of course, Darkhawk. I mean, we've been talking about Darkhawk. You guys know I love Darkhawk. Darkhawk is just absolutely amazing into the meta right now. I know you still kind of have to build around Darkhawk a little bit, but if you are facing a lot of Thanos or Airshim, you have Darkhawk here. There was a lot of instances I remember talking on stream where I switched to the Darkhawk deck, and then I didn't get any Thanos for like 10 games. And then I got Airshim 3 out of 5 games and a steamrolled Airshim. So it was just incredible to see how, you know, the matchmaking works in this game. But the Darkhawk works really well instead of the Claw if you want that in that slot. Of course, a really great copy for Mystique. It's a Thanos meta right now we're living in, and people are also starting to play a lot of Airshim. So keeping that in mind prospectively, it's working really well. And then, of course, you do have Gore. You have 4 ongoing cards in your Darkhawk list, and you have 3 ongoing cards in your, I mean, technically 4 also if you include Mystique in the Claw list, and then 5 technically in the including Mystique in the Darkhawk list. You do have Gore, and your opponents are also playing Gore. If this gets hit by an Agent Venom, this gains 4 power pretty much. Gets hit by a Bast, it also gains 4 power. If it gets hit by Esme, it gains 5 power. So like this card still can scale really, really well, even if there's not a crazy amount of unreveals, but people are still playing a lot of unreveals, whether it is energy cheating for some Zabu or Surge or Surfer. All the Thanos stones, most of them have on reveals, so that's Gore value itself too. So Gore's also in a really solid spot right now. Really love this card. But that is going to be the general gist of the decks we have right now. Of course, if you need some sort of like substitutions, there isn't necessarily a 1-for-1 for Gore, but you may want to maybe lean more into having Darkhawk in your list instead of Gore, and having Claw in your list instead of Gore, potentially if you don't have Gore, as one of those just ongoing options. Or you go and slot more into the tech kind of 3-cost side of things. Maybe you are running a Mobius and a Juggernaut instead of having that Gore, or you're running a Juggernaut and a Cosmo instead of Gore. Just kind of feel out what your meta is if you do not have Gore in the sense. Gore just works really well in my opinion, and helps have you have another just really good hit for like vertical power. But just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's going to be the general gist of the decks itself. There's not a 1-for-1 necessarily swap for Surge, 2-cost tech card, Esme, 3-cost tech card, maybe even a Frigga could be interesting. Maybe a Frigga with the Surge. Something you can get going on maybe with, instead of Surge. If you don't want to do Surge, you have Esme instead. You can maybe try a Victoria hand, maybe. Because I would only use the Victoria hand in probably the claw style because you also have the hood in there, and you kind of have to get the Nico copy spell to be able to get that to work, and then Esme only creates another created card. But anywho, we're going to swap over to some gameplay now. I'm going to start off with the Shocking Small Ball, and then we'll move over to Darkhawk, and then I'll see you guys at the end of the video. I was definitely not expecting a Luna there. I also think they maybe thought we didn't have the energy. I wonder if that's the case. Maybe they thought we didn't have the energy. I'm going to go Nico, probably Nico Cass into Thanos over here. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, Nico Cass probably is the play. I probably float, unless I get Surge here. Surge is the only way I would actually play a card out there. Okay, yeah. So this is going to be Nico into Cass, so I get another Cass. And then the question is, do I play anything here right now? Icebox hits... Okay, it hit Esme anyways. I do have Surge. I honestly think they might play Cosmo here, so I'm going to play Cass right. Yeah. Cool, they can't move Sam there. I now go Esme here. And then I have another cast. I can do cast Surge things. They do Mobius. Okay, so I get... So Esme gets Juggernaut, which honestly is not bad for us here, to be fair. If I go... Cast into... You go cast Surge here. They don't have Time Stone on the board right now. Let me go Surge. Go Surge Cass. Mockingbird, Reality Stone. I lose Hood, and they lose Enchantress. Oh, that's pretty cool. Give me another... I mean, not a jug. We do get another jug. Now the question is... I mean, they play Shang-Chi, Shirley, right? Is Shirley Chi angle here? Do they Chi here or they Chi there? This beats... So it's... I jug right first. Because I want Chi to land. So Chi lands right here. I think this works the way I want it to, or no? Am I wrong? Yo, what's going on, Nero? How you doing, bro? Thank you so much for the raid. Is it jug right or is it middle? Because they play a card here. I think this is the play. I think it's this. Because now if we get cheated right, we still win. Shadow King. Cool. That works. The Shadow King. Like with fire hairs. Oh, we got Thanos over here. Let me float this. Yeah, no, Shadow King's gonna be everywhere now, bro. So we're gonna go Surge here. Time Stone. Okay. So they're gonna just another Thanos thing. We're gonna go. So Mockingbird. I mean, I don't care if I actually bast Mockingbird here. So that's probably why I'm gonna go Surge right. Sam Wilson. Cosmo is gonna offset if they play the Cosmo here, which they might. They might play Cosmo on this point right here. Which if they play Cosmo right, actually, oh my goodness. I will go Esme. Well, let me go Bast Esme. Yeah, Bast Esme. This is honestly, I mean, what? This is all stones here. So Soulstone, they draw a card. Red Guardian, yikes. Okay, well they got a literally like a perfect hit themselves. Cool. Into Strange, into Reality Stone, into Baxter Building. Wow. What a freaking game, bro. We do get a Claw. 3/4 Claw is pretty good. They snapped the Surge, though. Yeah. The thing is, I can do this, and I get another cast, which is pretty nice here. So I'm going to stay in this just because my cast is going to be at least, like, some good odd power. Wiccan. I go Nico into another cast, which is really good. We get 8. Yeah, big casts. 11 powered cast is pretty nice. And then I'm going to play Cass into Hood. And then if I get Mystique, I'm kind of just chilling here. Big Cass value. They'll probably take priority over me here. And then they'll probably cheat me on the right, if I'm not mistaken. There's the Thanos. They eat a stone. I go... If I go Claw, Juggernaut... How many... They have no tokens on the board. If I Boomer Snap, do they leave, by the way, you think? Do you think that they leave if I Boomer Snap? So they have 8 energy. Mockingbird cost 6. Mockingbird, Power Stone. Cool. Thanos Surge? No. Say it ain't so, Junkhead. Say it ain't so, bro. What are you doing with Thanos Surge, man? What are you doing with Thanos Surge, bro? Got to Sam Wilson. Esme is pretty good into this right now. What are we drawing with Esme, though? If I can even get a rock for them? I mean, we're up by 4? What do they hit me with? Iron Man seems pretty nice. That's not nice. That's not nice. That's okay. That's all right. Nico into Big Cass. Galacta. Go regular Iron Man here. Or if I go Iron Man, I mean, go Iron Man here. They play big card there. They move this middle. We beat Broodlings there. We beat Broodlings here. We tie Sarah. That's Sarah. Big Sarah. me see. I go Mystique, Cass. I mean, if they run Enchantress, we're cooked. If they don't run Enchantress, we're not cooked. This goes to 11. They could just give middle. I mean, Enchantress. Well, I mean, Enchantress middle is 15. So there is a world where I do that. I lose to Jug right here. If this is Jug. Jug right's pretty rough for me. But if it's not Jug right, I think we should win. Captain Carter. Jug. Okay. Wait, does that mean... That means Captain Carter dies, right? Yeah. Just to play the Gormid. It is, like you said. I mean, am I about to play... I'm literally about to play just the mirror again. I had Avengers Compound, so I couldn't play Darkhawk middle. Avengers Compound, I had to play Darkhawk right. Surge on Surge. Let me see. Yo, Elmo, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the kingdom. Bro, you're good. I think I go Agent Venom into Grandmaster. I think that's the way this works. Yo, I hope you get some great sleep. You got this. It's early. It's super, super early for your Marvel Snap, so I get it. I get it. Is this a snap? I think this is how it works. I think this is how it works. And what I have still left in my deck should give me a 4 cost or cheaper one of these other cards. Yeah, I will. I will prove it next game. And then now I Surge. And now we should be good. Is that Red Guardian? Or no, it's Kitty. And now we get the extra value, which is a big hawk. So then I do this into that. There we go. And then I can play Mystique here. Right, I played that right? Yeah, I did. It's got to double check. Man, oh my goodness. Oh, it's so funny. All right. And then I'll play Mystique. I mean, if I get... no, I think we still just play Mystique for the Darkhawk. Unless, like, I get something crazy here. Havoc, Mobius. That's honestly not bad. Now I legitimately just play Mystique. Legitimately, I just play Mystique now. And they have 4 energy. The Mobius is interesting for the mirror. Yeah, we'll play Hood left. Just for the extra power. I could play Mystique left. Well, Mystique, actually, hold on. Havoc gets bigger. Havoc gets bigger than what we're probably going to have going on there. So that's true. Havoc's going to get bigger than Athena. This gets +6. This gets +8. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's totally that. Juggernaut's kind of really rough here if they jug here. Do have 4 energy. What are we doing? Oh, we got Neo. Is it Jug left? No, it's Kitty left. Kitty Hood. Okay, so they know that they've lost right lane, pretty much is what they're telling me here. And then I just gore. Do I gore middle, actually? I gore middle. They could Sage. They could Sage Kitty. They would Sage here, Kitty there. Which Sage Kitty isn't that big. I mean, I guess like Shang-Chi. They can't. They can only Shang-Chi me here if they don't have. If it got hit by Surge. They always play something here. They always play like Kitty here. If I played Demon Cast there. Okay. You got Bass, starting hand. Fogwells. I think we'll go Bass into Surge here. Airshim. Back-to-back games against Airshim, though, is not bad. Back-to-back Airshim, I don't hate. Monster Island. We get Gore. Play Surge right. We do have Esme. What we got? Mirage gets my Esme. So good for them. Mirage is so good. I lose Iron Man. I get Korg. They lose Odin. Let's get this ramp going. Let's get this a ramp going. Esme and Misty. This seems pretty good. Yeah, I'm thinking like they chi me here or something, so I'm setting up extra power there. I get... Oh, I do get Mystique. I do get Mystique. They Legion. Oh my god. Please tell me I draw another Mystique. Please tell me I draw another Mystique. Blarvel. And a rock. I mean, it's just Mystique into Nico, right? Chi Shadow King. Right? It's just Mystique Nico, not... I lose to Chi here? Is it Chi middle? They Chi right? No way they have Chi Absorbing Man, right? Wait. No Thanos. No Thanos. We do draw cards. Keep Nico here. Keep Nico because we have Esme. Kitty Pride. Another small ball shell. Monster Island. Let's see. Now we get Nico draws 2. I kind of want to... No. We're going to go Agent Venom. And then we'll start our Surge train. Then we'll start the Surge train. Okay, we need Nico location change because this is really good for them. So I have to play Esme here just because of how huge Kitty's gonna get. Okay, big Cass. Jeff, and then big Kitty. If I can get location change, we'll be okay. If not, this is like really bad. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it is gonna be Nico into Cass here. Okay. Still not the most optimal for us there, but Kitty is a little bit smaller. Just a hair smaller. Now I go Iron Man. Galacta. Galactic Kitty's pretty big. They do run Enchantress in this list, which is something to keep in mind. Did I play that right? I did. I did. They do run Enchantress, so they might Enchantress me middle. Enchantress Kitty. I think it's Enchantress Kitty. Do they Enchantress me here or here? With the Zabu, it makes it interesting. It is Enchantress middle. It is Enchantress middle. Yup. Cool. Oh no, we're trying to be a little cautious, right? A little cautious. Clintar. We do start with Surge. Okay. So I go Bass into Surge. We start a curve. We don't have to like worry about Mystique now too, which is nice. We got like the worst kind of Surge card in our hand right now, so we can make the most out of everything else. We do also have Darkhawk into Mystique, so this is really good for us. Agony. Okay. Now what do we get? Warrior Falls is interesting. I have Cosmo now. I save Cosmo though. Do I save Cosmo? I think we do save Cosmo actually. As weird as it is, Fastos. We could play it right. That's true. I think I'm gonna go Nico Cosmo. Lasher, big Lasher. Okoye. I see what just happened there. Okay. And then they can't play anything onto Lechugia. At this point now, they can't play anything on Lechugia, or I just win. Is my logic here. So I can keep Darkhawk here on the right. Oh. The Gwen pool. All right. Now I lose to Enchantress, right? Enchantress, right, beats me now if they have Enchantress. I honestly wish that it hit Sage. If I hit Sage, we win. I do that. Because Enchantress makes this... Is it ever this? There's the Brood. Wait, what? Okay. Big Brood. Getting hit by the Chavez and the Gwenpool. And then Havoc got hit by Fastos, Okoye, and 2 Gwenpools? Yo. Thanos with Titan. Okay, let's see what we can do here into this matchup. I don't hate our starting hand here with the Age of Venom and stuff we got going on, but this is very, very interesting. Mind Stone, turn 1 snap. Raft. I go Agent Venom into Cassandra Nova here. I potentially don't. Oh, okay. Well. Into space. Oh, this is actually very interesting. If I go Surge Bast, because they fill here. And now I have Bast. They Sam. Okay. Time Stone. Full hand. I go Core, get Cass. I have Gore. This can get really interesting here, actually. It's not snap back just yet, because we got some stuff going on. Wait, hold on. They failed right? They failed right lane, actually. Thanos? This is just Iron Man. And then I Gore middle. Mockingbird. They have Eliath. I think it's just Gore middle. It's a 50-50. Where did they play their stuff? I think it's Gore. Spectrum. Cool. Works for me. Easy 8. Need of a Lear. We do get Thanos. This is a Thanos game. We have Agent Venom. We have Cass. We have Esme. It's a really good start. Yeah, definitely more narrow than Iron Patriot and stuff. But she can cook. She can cook. All right, we'll go. I mean, they always play Sam here. This kind of competes with Sam a little bit. There is the Sam. I do take priority. I throw Cass out now. Just because they have 10 cards. This also dodges Shang-Chi, which is really nice here. Because it's in sewer system. Cosmo. Cosmo left. This could be a wait. This could actually be a snap. I mean, the Darkhawk left seems pretty good. Captain America, Ant-Man. We get our Cosmo. I snap into Darkhawk. We snap after an Esme too. Reality Stone. Oh my. Let me do this, that, and that. Did they play Spectrum right? Do they Spectrum right? Is that what it is? Or is it I think it's Spectrum right. Oh, we beat that. Cool. And we beat Thanos and we hit Infinite. But I do also think, so like, Darkhawk won me a lot of games, but it's honestly like this, the Cosmo value, and like Hood was good in a small ball, and like having a surprise claw was nice. But I don't know. I'm probably still heavy just Darkhawk bias. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. If you guys did stick around to the very end, let me know down below. How are you guys feeling about the new season? I know we're only 2 days into the new season, but how are we feeling about it so far? Of course, we have no OTA until the very end of the month, so who knows if anything changes before then. But I'm very excited. Also, let me know down below, which Surge variant is your favorite? Is it the Creative House Pocket, or is it the Emo Surge that came out yesterday? But until next time, it's been real. Definitely feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. God bless, and Tucker out.